So Blizzard have put out a blue post telling us what our expectations of BlizzCon should be. No, Blizzard. Let me tell you what our expectations of you should be.
Hi everybody, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. Now, one thing that Blizzard can do very, very well indeed is tell us stuff. Tell us how to feel. Tell us what to expect. Tell us what is fun in a game. And today, they're going to tell us about what our expectations should be when it comes to BlizzCon. Now, for all of that sarcasm, oozing sarcasm, this post, although very small and some might think relatively inconsequential, actually holds quite large ramifications. So that's why I think we should have a little bit of a chit-chat about this today in Halloween. Ooh, and shit. Now, one thing I will say to Blizzard, though, is I give you an A+ when it comes to telling us all these things, telling us what is fun, telling us how to play, telling us how to manage our expectations. One thing that I'm going to have to give you an F for, though, is the flip reverse side, which is the actual listening aspect. Very good at telling us stuff, very bad at listening to people. And that is why this post holds a lot of consequence. So, without further ado, and just as an addendum, at the end, there's a bit about security, which I'm just going to briefly go into, but it's quite sad, to be quite honest with you, but fully understandable, but quite sad. So I'm going to go into this post, and we're going to have a wee chat. Hey, guys! Just wanted to take some time to set some expectations ahead of time. Okay. Stop using the word time. Just one time would have been enough. Just wanted to take a moment out of my day to set some expectations ahead of time when it comes to all of the announcements and discussions when it comes to what we'll be talking about at BlizzCon this weekend. As well as remind everybody of some changes when it comes to security for this year's attendees. Okay, so this is about what to expect. Managing our expectations for what they're going to be announcing. In other words, shut up your hype. We're going to tell you what we're going to talk about, and that is it. If you think it's going to be anything else, you're going to be disappointed. As you are probably aware, we've been hard at work on the upcoming Tides of Vengeance content update. We are very excited for this update and is very much our immediate focus and will continue to be until after we've delivered it to you all. At BlizzCon, you'll be hearing us talk mainly about what comes after Tides of Vengeance. This is very important indeed. This is actually a good move. At BlizzCon this coming week, we shouldn't really be hearing about 8.1. We know what's coming in 8.1. We need to be looking ahead for the future. Now, I don't want to bring things down immediately, but I'm a pragmatist, people. I'm a realist. You know that. And so I've got to get this out. 8.1 ain't going to fix anything for people who are unhappy with the game. If you are currently unhappy with the state of BFA, although 8.1 does bring some small steps in the right direction, and I do have to acknowledge that, it's not ultimately fixing the problems of BFA if you are unhappy. If you're unhappy with the Azerite armor system, it's still going to be there and it's still garbage. But the small step in the right direction is at least you're going to be able to manage which piece you focus on. They're going to get rid of the RNG aspect of it, and you can focus specifically head, shoulders, chest. So it's a small step in the right direction, but Azerite armor is still garbage. It's still unquantifiable abilities scattered around that you have to go off-site to find out what the hell is going on with it. It's terrible stuff. The story is making a small tweak in the right direction. If you're a member of the Horde, then yeah, you can choose to ally yourself with Sylvanas, or you can choose to ally yourself with Sarfine, but with just a few simple tweaks to the storyline. Unfortunately, it doesn't repair what was done pre-expansion, but it's a small step in the right direction. Doubloons for island expeditions are going to turn into a currency. So yeah, you can get a few specific things. Reputation tokens, a few pets, a few toys, couple of cosmetic hats, and a mount. So there's a little bit of things to do with your doubloons, but ultimately, island expeditions are still going to be that Azerite power grind. So there are small steps in the right direction, but it's not fixing any issues. The bigger issue for me with Battle for Azeroth is the funneling of content and the lack of long-term things to invest in. There's nothing for people to invest their time and effort into. So you're being funneled into Mythic Plus dungeons or raiding, which essentially are very, very similar forms of content in themselves. One is just small group, one is large group. But it's ultimately kind of the same thing. And then PvP. And that is it. So in the outside world, nothing's changing. You're getting the invasions. Well, they are just invasions. I think they're calling them incursions in 8.1. But you're getting the dubbed down invasion for BFA. So it's like a dubbed down version of what a Legion invasion was. You get the quest, you do your 4 quests, and then you do a solo end instead of having to team up for a scenario. So there's other than that is it. There's nothing that's fixing the outside world. There's nothing that's making the outside world a more interesting place for you to go in. There's nothing that's fixing exploration. There's nothing that's fixing professions. There's nothing that's fixing the major issues with the game. The long form content and lack thereof of it. So I'm sorry if I've brought you all down on this Halloween. Have some candy. Cheer yourself up. I'm sorry if I brought you down, but ultimately, I've got sweets all over my desk now. Ultimately, it's not going to fix anything. Some steps in the right direction, yes, but it's that bit where they talk about we need to talk about the future. So let's try and get a little bit positive now. This, to me, this BlizzCon is Battle for Azeroth's make or break. Now, you could be saying, hey, Az, I thought you said you were going to be positive. No, I am being positive, right? I am being positive. Because let's just go on a little bit further in this. It says, the feedback you have all given us about Battle for Azeroth is something we are very grateful for. I'm not entirely convinced about that. And we can't wait for you to experience everything coming with Tides of Vengeance. Well, the feedback ain't fixing anything in Tides of Vengeance, but the feedback could potentially start to fix things in 8.2 going into the future. Now, some people may think Blizzard have already determined what the content for 8.2 is going to be, and there's little wiggle movement to change that. I'm going to disagree. Here. I'm actually going to take the White Knight road here. I think the fundamental content can't be changed. And when I say fundamental content, I mean the Naga raid, things like that, possible dungeon that may be brought in, and the location of where 8.2 will be set. Because I imagine they're going to take us to a new location or do something locale-wise to tweak things up. Those, I don't think they can change. Nor, really, if you think about it, is any of that a major issue. Raiding is always pretty solid in the World of Warcraft. So, that seems to be okay in itself. Dungeoneering, for the most part, apart from the Motherlode, is very good in the World of Warcraft in terms of the way that they design dungeons and the way that they look. So that in itself, again, should be pretty good. The location, the art department do a sterling job. They do a sterling job. They are on top of their game when it comes to aesthetics in the World of Warcraft. So the location of where 8.2 will be set, I think will look great. It should have its own unique feel, its unique aesthetic, and it should be a beautiful place to look at. The other stuff that they're going to do for 8.2, this is where I think things could potentially change. Now, if Blizzard are going to bring a new location, raid, possible dungeon, and then just think for their location, they're just going to scatter it full of new world quests. If they take that route, I think BFA is going to fall off a cliff. I actually do think it's going to fall off a cliff. It's going to come... It will become WoD 2.0 at that point, and they will lose the majority of on-the-fence people right now. They've already lost a lot. If people come back for 8.2, it's not going to hold them. And for the people who are on the fence holding out for 8.2, hoping that it is going to be the patch that turns the expansion around, they're going to be like, I'm out. I'm out. If that is the way that Blizzard are going to proceed. So, going to the actual post itself, if they are grateful, if they are indeed grateful for the feedback, if they are indeed happy to receive this and are listening, the thing that I was talking about at the beginning of the post, not telling, listening, doing the thing which they should be doing from the get-go, then that isn't the way that the content should provide itself in 8.2. There should be things in 8.2 which change the way that they distribute content. There should be a monumental scaling back of world quests. There should be something way more specific done with rares, with treasure hunting, with things of this aspect. Things which are of a more of an explorative nature to the player. More of a be out there in the world, be out there doing things type of experience when it comes to content. So if Blizzard are genuinely listening to the feedback, when they do talk about what the future for BFA is going to be, now they can either choose to be really cagey, they can choose to just give us generalistic content about the story. Oh, going forward, we see the Naga invade, and the Horde and the Alliance suddenly realise they have a greater enemy, and they might be being played, and they just give us a superficial overlay of the flow of the expansion. But if they want to get specific at BlizzCon for 8.2, then they've got to show that they have listened, and they've got to show that there is a change in attitude and actual content development about where the game goes. If they choose to be wishy-washy and go down the first route and just give us an overlay, oh, the Naga are coming, oh, old gods, oh, it's nothing we don't know. The old god stuff came in the storyline in what we were doing through leveling up. We know the Naga's coming. It was announced at BlizzCon last year. We know Ashara's coming. And again, we've had a little bit of that in the leveling up as well in BFA. So this isn't anything we don't know. BlizzCon this year has to give us something we do not know about for 8.2. And the only way that they can really do that and make people excited is to talk about specific contents and what it's going to be. Not 8 seconds of, yeah, there's going to be some world quests. Like they did with 8.1. 8.1 is going to tie people over who are currently happy with the product. So people who are currently happy doing the Mythic Plus, the raiding, and the PvP, 8.1 is going to be fine for them. It's going to be fine because it just gives you more of the same. But the people who are struggling, the people who are wanting to invest their time and effort into long-form content, which simply does not exist in the game, nothing to funnel your time and effort into, nothing to achieve, nothing to aim for, those people aren't going to get anything from 8.1. And so 8.2 has to be a huge turning point for BFA. It has to be the moment that Blizzard say, we are listening and we're making fundamental changes to the way that we distribute content in the World of Warcraft. So this, although it just comes across as a very small post about, yeah, we're listening, and it may be as superficial as it appears, but as a player of the World of Warcraft, this holds great weight. This holds a lot of weight. And as a player of the World of Warcraft, this BlizzCon has to deliver. Not about 8.1, because we know what's going to happen here. 8.2 and going forward. Can Blizzard do that? Now, just to end the video, just a sad thing. It is a sad thing, but I just want to really quickly go through it. As for security updates, I mentioned earlier, we recently posted a blog on the BlizzCon site that I want to mirror to increase awareness. We've enhanced our security this year, so I want to make sure you guys arrive earlier. They talk about bringing in metal detectors, bag checks at every single entrance point. It's sad. It's sad. It's fully understandable. It's sad that this is where we are in current year. This is where we are in current year, that we have to do these kind of things. So if you are going to BlizzCon, please don't do anything stupid. Don't think about doing anything stupid, even if you think you're being edgy and it's a joke and all that kind of jazz. Just be sensible and enjoy yourself and be safe. Okay, so with that said. So, just to conclude what I've been talking about, 8.1 ain't going to change anything for people who are unhappy with the game. It might give you a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks of forgetting about things. Maybe not. Maybe not even that long. It might just be a week or two at that. But going forward, it ain't changing anything. 8.2 is where it's at. 8.2 is the pivotal point of this expansion, and whether or not it falls off a cliff and turns into a WoD 2.0, or whether or not Blizzard are genuinely listening and are making fundamental changes to content going forward. And we're only going to find out at BlizzCon, where I'll just be playing the classic demo. So I hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do give a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and Twitch for live streaming. Links in the description box down below. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.